Hello and welcome to Psych Central's Ask the Therapist. I'm Dr. Dan Tomasulo, and this is my friend and colleague, Dr. Marie Hartwell-Walker.
Dan, a word that's showing up in the news a lot these days is narcissism.
Right.
And I think it's interesting to me because it looks to me like people are trying to figure out, all right, first of all, am I a narcissist? There are
Right.
lots of people who are worried about that in the
Right.
letters we receive.
Sure.
Do I have a narcissistic mom? Do I have a narcissistic boss? Is my boyfriend, in fact, narcissistic?
Right.
It's interesting. It's become this buzzword in the
Yeah.
last year.
Sure.
And I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing because I think people are trying to understand it and
Yes.
trying to figure out how to manage being in relationship to
Right.
someone who shows narcissistic traits. So I was wondering if you could just speak a little bit to the difference between someone who's behaving narcissistically and someone who's a genuine narcissist.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's it's kind of interesting because there's not a whole lot of research being done on just like narcissistic personality disorder and that kind of thing, and yet it's one of the most popular topics that
Yes,
we're
right.
getting.
Yeah.
And one way that I think about it is that it's kind of like if somebody writes in and asks, "Am I a narcissist?" The answer before I read the rest of the thing is no.
No.
That's
right.
If you have the kind of self-reflection that you're worried about your behavior and feedback that you're getting, you're already way down the line in terms of any kind of correction. So this idea that there's some kind of continuum is true up to a point, but I really genuinely believe that somebody with a narcissistic personality disorder is cut from a different cloth.
No, it's a different situation than garden variety selfishness.
Yes, right.
Okay? There are
right.
people who are garden variety selfish and need to look at that behavior
Right.
and maybe make some changes.
And under
there are
that-
people who have a disorder.
Absolutely. Under that, things like entitlement, that kind of thing. Or, in a classic narcissistic triad, you have narcissism, grandiosity, and depression, right? That those are the three elements that person sort of moves around in. And if they're aware of that, then that's sort of like on the continuum that they can say, geez, am I too much in this direction, too much in that direction? But for somebody who's really classically a narcissistic personality disorder, they are usually so defended against any real change that it's hard to even be in their presence because there's nothing that's going to penetrate. And I think that's the difference. And maybe what we can do is talk about how to cope with that range on one hand and an NPD on the other.
Well, let's take a look at the personality disorder because, as you say, a person who is truly in the disorder has no idea they have a disorder.
Right.
They're so full of themselves.
Yeah, right.
They have egos as big as Texas.
Right, right.
Any time you question them, you have questioned God.
Right.
And are deserving of a pretty brutal response.
Absolutely.
Right? So how does somebody who has to be in relationship with that or thinks they do, like
Right.
has to be in relationship with my mother who is everything is either my way or the highway,
Right.
And is so full of herself, or my boss. How does somebody deal with that?
I would say that the most important challenge there is to deeply challenge the assumption that you have to be in relationship with that person, because they're not going to change. I don't think somebody who is in a middle-aged thing who has true narcissistic, I don't think you can hope for a big change in them because they're not going to seek therapy or look for that change. So the first place would be to question the assumption: do you really need that relationship?
And if you do, is there a way to detoxify it for yourself? Just because someone invites you to a fight doesn't mean you have to go. So,
Good.
You can be in relationship with someone who is narcissistic as long as you don't take that behavior personally or try to fight it or try to change it, but develop workarounds for yourself so that you can maintain your own sense of self and not take on whatever punishing thing is being said to you, which is really a defense from the narcissist.
Right.
Yeah?
Don't lose yourself in a relationship with somebody with that level of narcissism?